Okay, so this is my synthesis project. It's by Kylie Snyder. Okay, so these are the 4 columns that I have with all of the stuff in them. So we have balanced literacy components, which is interactive writing, shared writing, and independent writing. Interactive writing is where the teacher is writing it, but the kids are kind of telling her what to write. So it's usually in a group setting where they're all on the ground and the teacher's writing up on the board and the kids are telling her where to go with it. Shared writing is what we did with our mentor students, is we would write while they were writing. So they would be writing for a duration of time and we would be writing at the same time, trying to influence them or help them understand that we also have to do it too. Independent writing is where the kids go and they write all by themselves. Writing workshop components is mini lesson, writing time, and sharing time. The mini lesson with a mentor text / introduction is where you read a book and then you do a little lesson over it to help the kids kind of understand where you're going with it. So we did that every single time we met with our kids. We would read a book, do a mini lesson, and then we would allow them to do some independent / shared writing about the mini lesson or about what they were wanting to write about. So writing time would be the allotted time given to the students. So for example, we did 20 minutes every single time, or tried to do. And then sharing time is them sharing it with the teacher or sharing it with other people about what they've written about. Writing process stages, we have rehearsing / pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, sharing, and publishing. So rehearsing / pre-writing is that brainstorming / organization stage where they're working on all of that. Drafting is where they're getting all of their ideas out then and trying to just write about it. Revising is where they move stuff around in the work to have it make more sense and flow a little smoother. Editing is where you edit the sentences, so whether it's spelling or punctuation or capitalization, any of that stuff. Sharing is where they're able to share it. Obviously sharing. And then publishing is where they have their published piece and they're sharing it with other people. So publishing and sharing kind of go together in that sense, because the sharing would be them sharing about their published work or their final draft. 6 traits of writing. You have ideas, organization, voice, word choice, sentence fluency, and conventions. The ideas is what they come up with about what they want to write about, whether they have 3 different topics and they're trying to hone in on one or whatever it is. My student had a lot of ideas that he wanted to write about, but he couldn't choose which idea he wanted to write about in the end, but we ended up choosing it, but he had a lot of ideas. Organization is those mind maps or those bubble maps or things like that, trying to kind of create an outline would be the organization of what they want to write about. Voice is where your voice or your student's voice shines through in their writing, whether it ends up being through characterization or author's word choice or author's purpose. All of those things is where the voice shines through, which is really hard to teach, as we all learned. Word choice is changing words up to make them not sound so boring or repetitive, make them be more out there and give them a bunch of different options, such as instead of saying funny, you say humorous or something like that. Sentence fluency is where the sentences kind of flow together very smoothly instead of being choppy with lots of periods and things like that. The sentences flow. And conventions are the different genres and the literary elements that make up those genres. So like similes and stuff like that. So in the classroom, it's very important to use all of these things to help improve students' writing and to help them learn writing. Then for the connections, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the connections of what we did with our students kind of in the class. So I'm going to start off with the mini lesson, if it'll click with me. There we go. So I have the mini lesson is where we would start off with, and that would connect by going, let's say I did a mini lesson over rehearsing or drafting. So we have both of those things, which could also, both of them could relate to ideas and organization. I'm just going to circle them. And then, so it would go from a mini lesson. Let's say the mini lesson was over rehearsing or drafting, and then we would do an activity over ideas or organization. And then after that, I may include some interactive writing with my student or some shared writing with my student, which all comes down to sharing time in the end when you share about what you've written about. So yeah, these are the connections that I was able to make with them together whenever I was working with my student. And I feel like all of these elements work together to help a student understand how to fully write and how to be successful in the classroom with writing.